Well, this video is all about Microsoft's new sustainability report, and it's our review. 5 pros and 5 cons of their new 2024 report. But before we do that, my name is Lindsay Hampson. I'm the president of This Rock. We are an ESG and sustainability consulting firm. We've helped 30 plus businesses figure out sustainability. But back to Microsoft. So, in this video, you're going to hear a little bit about their 2023 numbers and initiatives. And you're going to get our review on what we thought was good and what we thought was not so good. So it's easy to find Microsoft Sustainability Report. Just go to their website, click on the Sustainability tab, and you'll go to the 2024 report. And here it is. It's 88 pages. There's lots of different sections. They broke it into main components. If you're looking for those Excel charts that you might have seen in previous videos, if you click on Environmental Data Fact Sheet, you can actually see them break down their scope 1 and 2 and 3 greenhouse gas emissions by type. They align themselves to several of the sustainable standards, for example. They're looking at different categories of emissions. So if you're into the details and I've made you a details nerd, then please go ahead and dive in. If not, we can go back to their main report. And here it is. If I just flow through in looking at what they wanted to focus on this past year, it was improving their measurement, getting more efficient, getting some partnerships, building some new markets, and advocating for public policy on the environment. But if we flow through a little bit of their highlights, they have their carbon highlights here, 23.6 million MWH, total renewable electricity used in fiscal 23. Water, again, massive, obviously a massive company, same with waste. And then ecosystems protected in FY23, 15,849 acres. So that's 9,000 soccer pitches if you look at it. Again, they talk about how they work, Microsoft sustainability, customer sustainability, and global sustainability. And that's how they broke their report down. So if we want to look at what they're doing on the customer side to encourage sustainability and reduce their footprint, then we can dive through and look at it. Green software, for example, devices, cloud for sustainability. Their global sustainability, too, we can look at employee engagement, for example, focusing on employee engagement through an eco challenge, a hackathon, or just fostering their own eco challenges at the company. So now that you know where to get this report and you can see there's different sections, let's fast forward over to our take, 5 pros and 5 cons. So it would be amiss if I didn't also talk about Bill Gates when I'm talking about Microsoft's sustainability report. I know Bill Gates is no longer in the day-to-day operations of Microsoft. I don't know if you remember this, but he stepped down in the 2000s as CEO, and then he transitioned. They started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He remained on their board of directors until 2020, and he still has some influence because he is co-founder. So occasionally we like to talk about him when we talk about Microsoft. So doing a lot of good, set Microsoft up, lots of sustainability efforts, really a leader in many ways. But also, people criticize Bill Gates for having private jets and flying all over the place and contributing to the problem. Number 1, carbon reduction. This is the pros. Microsoft has made significant strides. Nobody can take that away from them. They've really tried to reduce their carbon footprint. By 2024, they had achieved this remarkable reduction in scope 1 and 2 emissions, reinforcing this commitment to be carbon negative by 2030. They've also reduced their carbon emissions by 10% year over year, and you can see that in their sustainability report. This is through innovation. So I'm just going to hit you with some bullets right now. Number 1 is improving measurement by harnessing the power of digital technology so they can get their numbers. 2 is increasing the efficiencies by using data center innovations and trying to just get things done as quick as possible. 3 is forging partnerships. This is technology breakthroughs. We can think of things like AI. We can think of green steel, concrete, and fuels. And then finally, they're an advocate for public policy changes, which are directly related to carbon reduction. So 2 is renewable energy. The company's dedication to powering its operations with renewable energy is honestly commendable. With the target of reaching 100% renewables by 2025, electricity technologies include what you'd guess: wind, solar, geothermal, sustainable biomass, and sustainable hydropower. And they've already powered 80% of their global operations with clean energy, which is pretty amazing. Well, water positive initiatives is definitely a focus if you read through the report. They're looking at the water they consume, particularly in water stressed regions. This is their highlight for innovative technology and tackling global water scarcity, which is obviously a huge issue across the world. They've implemented advanced water cycling systems, and they're working on these really interesting projects to restore water in stressed regions. Again, look at their sustainability report. It's pretty cool. And they realize there's a problem, they want to fix it. 4 is e-waste management. You can think of all the gadgets and laptops that are left hanging around. So they have these circular centers and they have partnerships aimed at reducing all this e-waste. Microsoft is making notable progress in closing the loop on the life cycle of all of their products. And again, I'm going to use the word commendable. Their commitment to reducing, reusing, recycling is really helping the industry, thinking about hardware, thinking about packaging. I think personally, they're setting a very high standard for the tech industry, which is welcome. Well, transparency in reporting, although sounding kind of lame, is becoming more important because we don't want companies to just report whatever they want. We want them to be super transparent and rigorous about adopting reporting standards like the Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure. It's called the TCFD, or SASB, Sustainable Accounting Standards Boards, just to ensure that their sustainability efforts are not only visible, but are also measurable, which makes this way more important because transparency for other companies is going to be helpful too. All right, let's do 5 cons. So Microsoft Scope 3 emissions is the first con. Addressing Scope 3 emissions is critical if you can understand Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. 3 is usually where it all lies. Their vast network of suppliers and customers, Microsoft must intensify their efforts to reduce these emissions and work hard toward their carbon negative goal. And then you can see a quote on the last page that one of their biggest challenges is Scope 3 emissions. Definitely, they know they need to target that, and they're going to be looking at it. The next one is water usage in their data centers. Think about all the people that or companies that need to use the data centers for Microsoft. This report acknowledges the challenges in reducing water use and replenishing more water than consumed, particularly in their rapid growing data center operations when you think about that. But despite initiatives to become water positive, the increasing demand for AI, which takes a lot of brains, and cloud services puts pressure on their ability to manage water resources sustainably. Microsoft's strategy involves significant investment in carbon removal and offset projects. While this is positive, some critics, like me, argue that reliance on offsets rather than direct emissions reduction might not be the long term strategy, especially when it comes to addressing the root cause. Just to make this video more authentic, I have real birds outside chirping. So if you hear them, it's real. Number 4 is the circular economy implementation. Although Microsoft is doing some work to reduce packaging, we need to fully implement a circular economy across all their operations and products, but that's going to be complex and ongoing. But when you think about the packaging and the plastic involved, that's something that needs to be a focus this year. And finally, embedding sustainability and innovation, just ensuring that sustainability is a core consideration in every aspect of Microsoft, new products, new services, in the leadership team and all the way down. And finally, there's this challenge of balancing technological innovation with environmental impact. But the environment is a stakeholder too. So Microsoft's drive to lead in the tech industry often comes with increased production or energy consumption. And that is something they need to strike a better balance with. Because obviously, continuing to innovate can lead to continuing to increase environmental harm, maybe even social tension, and on and on. So, being mindful of using innovation to embed sustainability is something we need to continue to figure out at Microsoft. There's been progress toward carbon emissions reduction, adopting renewable energy, promoting an inclusive and sustainable workforce. We didn't touch too much on labor and human rights. However, to maintain their leadership position, they really need to help innovate and figure it out on Scope 3 emissions. That's their supply chain, because that's how we can crack the nut on this whole thing. So, what are your thoughts on Microsoft's sustainability journey and on their report? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have an analysis that you would change one part, or you'd add something, or you thought we missed something, please let us know. We'd love to hear your insights. Or feel free to like, share, or subscribe as we continue to help businesses figure out sustainability. All right, I hope you're having a great week, and thanks for watching.